I'm rolling.
Some of the artists got in trouble that way because they take Indians' pictures and then the Indians would get upset and you have to rip up the drawing because that's the only way they could get their souls back.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing is I'm getting ready to go out to the Utes, take a trade camp out to the Utes. Saves them the trouble of having to come in here, trade with us, move their village in here, and by going directly out to them, it's a convenience to them, and they don't have to make the choice about going to one of our competitors. So we're trying to steal the trade from, or ensure the trade comes to us rather than to our competitors. So I got the goods out here I'm going to take with me to that encampment, and I've been making an inventory list to see what I've taken out of the trade room so I can keep track of the furs we brought in, the goods that we returned to the trade room, so I can measure the profits or losses that we make on the trip, and hopefully they're all profits. So now, if you'd like, I'll move over here to the trade blanket. We can talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Move this.
Now, most of our trade, the bulk of our goods, is going to be in textiles, fabrics, clothing, sewing needs, blankets. About 60% of our goods is in those items. Then the next three categories are cooking and foods, blanket or kettles, coffee and sugar is most of the items we trade in that. Hunting related items, guns, gun supplies, ammunition, gunpowder, gun flints. Adornment, items of adornment. This is a very big category. It's very important to the Indians to be fashionable, look pretty, and in that category, one of the biggest items is beads. And one of the inventories I've got, they took out 52 pounds of seed beads, which, if you take the average weight of a seed bead, the density of a seed bead, that comes to 2.5 million seed beads that he was expecting to trade on that trip. The Indian women were responsible for doing all the work in the camp. Men went out hunting and fishing, horse stealing expeditions, and war parties. The rest of the time they sat around camp smoking. The women did all the other work. But somehow, the Indian women had enough time to string and sew on 2.5 million seed beads between everything else that they were doing. So it implies that these Indians were fairly wealthy, and they had free time to do things that make them look pretty. Smaller categories are items of grooming, combs, pocket mirrors. We've got knives. This is part of cooking. A favorite item amongst the Indians. If they didn't have fine steel knives, they're using flint knives and simply don't work as well as a steel knife. The women who are doing all the work, we've got special items for them. Small squaw, it's called a squaw axe, specially designed for a woman to go out and gather firewood. Got fabrics. I don't have any alcohol out here right now. Alcohol, in spite of what people think, represents a relatively minor part of the trade. On the inventories I've got, I've seen between 2 and 4% of the inventory value is in alcohol. Very minor. It's not in our interest to have drunk Indians. A drunk Indian man, he is not motivated to go out and shoot buffalo, trap beaver. A drunk Indian woman is not motivated to process those hides. And a drunk Indian is a dangerous customer. It's not in my interest to have drunk Indians around. So if I'm not directly competing with somebody, I try and limit alcohol. And even when I take alcohol out, it's the last thing I trade. When I'm on my way out of the village, they can have the alcohol. I don't want to be around drunk Indians. Here's an item. It's a chief's coat, very colorful, very gaudy. This is something that is not intended so much for trade, but as a gift, part of that initial opening ceremony with the Indians. I give this out to the head man to show him I honor him, that I respect him, that he's important to me, and in return, when he's wearing this coat around camp, he's going to be telling people who he got the coat from, and he's going to be returning the favor to me. I also give out these coats to Indian warriors that are going to become my soldiers in the event of a cultural misunderstanding. There are no lawyers to go through, and the Indian response typically is, kill a traitor. That's not a desired outcome for me. So these warriors who I've made my soldiers, they're there to protect myself and my goods. In the event of a misunderstanding and the warriors come to me and want to kill me, these soldiers will protect me and take care of that. So I can stay above the fray. I can remain friends with both sides. Keeps me neutral. So this is an item that's mostly given away. People don't take baths much. This is more something for the traders or for the trappers. This is Florida water. Basically, bath water. People don't take baths very often. The odors build up. But with this, periodically, you can cover up those odors, and you don't need to take a bath. The guys in the mountains may not bathe any more often than once a year. Up here in the mountains, when we pack out of here, there's a wagon over there, but the wagon isn't so practical in the mountains to travel around, so this stuff will probably all be loaded onto a pack horse, or pack horses. Pack horses are capable of carrying 2 packs of approximately 90 pounds apiece, and that's how we'll get around. It's a manpower and horsepower intensive process, but we can go anywhere with pack animals.
I think you got it.
I think that's all I can ramble on about.